So here we go. RaceBot's given the countdown and has said go, so it's just a matter of waiting for the latency now to catch up. Or the streams to catch up.
Thinking of Wily 6.
There we go. In which one? In 2?
The silent music.
Yeah. So both these guys are going to cut first. That means they're going to be going for the early Magnet Beam grab. So a little bit faster. Yeah. It's a little bit faster than Guts first, but again, you do have to do the zip pretty quickly to actually save time with it over the Guts route, so we'll see how it goes when they get to that. That won't be till they hit Elect stage. This stage, basically exactly the same as the Guts first route, except they Buster Cut instead of killing him with the blocks in the room, so...
Yeah, they just have to 7-shot him instead of 2-shot him there.
Yeah, pretty much. The only real danger, sort of, for a more casual route for this stage specifically, like if you're not going for every crazy little time saver, you can be low health when you get to the end of the stage, and there's a big eye at the end of the stage, so if they are at 10 or less HP, they're going to have to be very careful. Maybe potentially even see some of the runners pick up the health, but 2woGood does have enough health. And negaZeus doesn't now, so we'll see if he goes to grab the health. 2woGood's going to grab the health anyway, so...
Yeah, wants to be safe for Cutman, I guess.
Yeah. We'll definitely see negaZeus go and grab this health as well, so... I'm not sure why... I guess maybe 2woGood didn't start his timer. We're not seeing it on the stream, but 2woGood's timer is like 30 seconds off of negaZeus's. So I hope that he doesn't PB and try to figure out why his cut time isn't very good. I'm confused. But that won't be showing on the stream, so... Probably confusing that I even brought it up.
Well, in any case, negaZeus is looking to have a very good run here.
Yeah, good start for both of them.
Both of them moving on to Elect stage now.
Yeah, so Elect stage, the longest of the 6 robots in Mega Man 1. And mostly due to the fact it's a really, really high vertical screen, or tall vertical stage, with a lot of vertical screens that you have to climb ladders with, and ladders are really slow, so anything you can do to speed up the ladders is really crucial, like jumping as high as you can before grabbing them, and then using the beam once you get it halfway through the stage. So 2woGood is going the left way on the Yokus. This is a little bit tricky. And Nega electing just to go right to the right side. 2woGood gets his jump though, the corner jump, so very nice. A little bit of time saved there on Nega. Again, just getting rid of these enemies so they don't knock you down, because you really don't want to have to reclimb ladder sections that you've already climbed.
So right here we got 2woGood going for the Magnet Beam glitch here, trying to get not trapped to soft lock, because that would waste some time.
Yeah, and he's got it. That was pretty quick. That was not too bad.
negaZeus, on the other hand, having a little bit of trouble. Taking a little bit more time here.
Yeah, he's in the wall now. It's just a matter of can he get over to the beam So this is kind of costing him some time here. Hopefully he can get in there really quick here.
Still having some trouble, but meanwhile, 2woGood's making his way up with Magnet Beam. Having a really good climb.
Yeah, just showing why that beam is so useful. Being able to skip a lot of the ladder climbs. Come on, Zeus! Get in there!
Gee.
Oh, man. So this trick is kind of precise. It's not just... Like, you have to, like, hold right for, like... I think it's, like, about 10 or 11 frames or something. And then you hit left, and that allows you to sort of exit the wall.
But you don't want to exit the wall too far.
No, because if you push too far into that block, since he doesn't have Elec's weapon or Guts' weapon, he can't destroy those blocks, so he would be stuck in there and have to reset. Oh, come on, get in there.
Okay, it looks like he's safe now. He's lost a little bit of time trying to deal with that, but he managed to get out okay.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of a rough grab, but like you said, he's got it now, so just has to put that behind him. It's a trick. It's a tricky glitch to pull off. That's why we've actually seen a lot of runners just elect to go with the Guts first route, just because it's a little bit, easier with regard. You don't have to do that skip at all. So
I tried asking around on the chat how much time it saves, and people think it saves like 15 seconds on average compared to the
it probably depends on the runner too. Like, if you're gonna nail every single zip in Guts and go for all the really hard strats, it probably saves a decent amount. But I'd say probably for the average runner, I wouldn't even think it saves that much. I think Baron actually figured out how much it saves. I just don't remember what he said off the top of his head, or off the top of my head.
As Nega continues his climb, 2woGood's attempting the ice zip here. Had to use a little bit of extra Magnet Beam, but he gets the zip.
Yeah. So negaZeus is getting his Elec kill here. So a little bit of an advantage right now going to 2woGood just due to that Magnet Beam grab, really, but still not a huge separation between these guys yet.
Yeah, we probably got about half a stage difference right now, but we'll see how negaZeus does in Iceman stage coming up here.
Yeah. Getting that really easy ice kill, using the select button to keep Iceman's body in place, so that he can just let that one shot take him out. So 2woGood, already 3 stages down. Ice's stage is pretty short though, like even if you have to do these Yokus, which you see negaZeus doing, it's not really long. The beam makes it quite a bit easier. Meanwhile, 2woGood going through fire here. There's a lot of different tricks you can do in fire to, zip and stuff, but a lot of those setups are pretty. Obviously, they're all precise. Like every zip in Mega Man 1 is pixel perfect. You have to get the beam on the exact spot, so the runners need to, actually focus when they're trying to set those up and decide too which ones they figure are not worth it to just skip them completely. And we saw negaZeus do that with the ice wrap, just electing to do the Yoku puzzles. So 2woGood setting up the zip and fire. A little bit of issues finding the pixel, but he gets it. And does he get his zip? He does. Nice. Really nice stage there from 2woGood.
Apologies, I had to fix some things here, but I think they're
No
straightened
worries.
out. So
Good fire
negaZeus is
kill.
gonna be doing the zip from the ladder here, which more consistent, but
Yeah, it makes the zip actually, like, obviously, like, super free, because you get the pixel and then you fire your beam, so you know you're gonna get it, basically. Ooh, I like that. He froze the fire beam there at the right height.
I always forget about that strat. But yeah, something you can do. Just use the ice beam instead of magnet beam.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love those strats. That's really clever. Very precise, obviously, freezing those beams, because you have to make sure that they're at the exact height so you can make those jumps, but really cool. Look at him, he's going for all these tricks. He hasn't even used the beam once yet, other than the first zip from the ladder. Really,
Involves some
really
time
interesting.
in changing menus, but go with what works.
A little. Yeah, but his movement was really quick. Like, he didn't really have to slow down, so like that's pretty cool.
But unfortunately,
Oh, doesn't get back into play.
yeah, I lost a bit of time there. See if we can make up it here.
That's really too bad too. He got the zip, which is the hardest part.
Just didn't get the extra boost there.
Yeah, I just couldn't get back in bounds.
Meanwhile, 2woGood getting that bomb zip just fine.
Yeah, he nailed it. Good zip. It's a really good zip to do too. It's an easier one, and it also helps that it saves a lot of time. Like, it skips one of the worst screens in the 6 robots, so definitely worth learning.
So, negaZeus going for the zip again, for the fire zip, but he didn't have enough magnet beam, I guess? Could he still have done that zip, even though he pointed to the left there?
Yeah, if you have enough, all you need, once you hit that room, you just need the one beam. You can still press left to face left and then hit up and zip, but yeah, he must not have quite got his setup right or something, because it looked like he just fell straight down.
So now he's got to go through this fire room without the magnet beam, just take a bit of damage here.
Yeah.
Things are looking a little unfortunate for negaZeus. I think he's on his last life here.
Yeah, has to be a little bit careful. He's got 2 more stages to go too, so you don't want to die in a place that could cost you even more time at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the rest of his stages go, but
Just gotta not
too
take
good. He gets over the really scary guts pit.
So I don't think he can take any damage going into against Fireman here, so he's got to have a really solid fight.
Yeah, make good use of that select button again. Being able to hold bosses in place. He will have to be careful though, because usually Fireman will still get a fire beam off. So you have to make sure that you actually dodge it, because you can still die after the bosses die, so... He's playing it super safe, trying to make sure he gets his kill. He's gonna have to jump over it. Oh, he doesn't quite clear it. And that's the game over, too. Oh, that's
Dang.
really unlucky.
Yeah.
Like, he had it. He had that fight, and then just... Like, his last select pause there, he just waited a little too long, and that ice beam shot went right through it. Meanwhile, 2woGood's already done with Mega Man 1. He's off to 2, which is, I think, his best game of the 6 games. So yeah, it's tough to deal with that kind of stuff, especially in races. But hopefully, negaZeus can sort of regroup here. It's really hard to like focus. Mega Man 1 is not an easy game by any means, and the fact that you have to play it first can really mess with you. Like, it can get you sort of off your game. Like, you just sort of have to remember it's like this is a short game. Let's just get through it and get to the the other games. Oh, he tried to go for that zip again, and unfortunately he must have grabbed in the screen transition just a little bit wrong, and unfortunately fell straight down to his death again, so... You gotta wonder at this point, do you even bother going for that again? Like...
Might be safer just to cut your losses and go normally at the moment, but I guess it's up to the runner, see if he feels confident enough to just keep going with it.
Yeah. 2woGood has a pretty standard flash. Flash stage, there's not a whole lot going on. There's ice physics, but other than that, like, the stage is pretty straightforward. Trying again.
And he's playing on Mega Man too, so not too much to worry about the text. Wait.
Yeah, bosses are a lot easier, obviously, on normal in Mega Man 2, compared to Rockman 2, which only has difficult mode. But the weapon gets are a lot slower, unfortunately, so he'll lose some time there, but I don't think negaZeus plays Rockman 2 anyway, so we won't really see any time loss for that decision in this race.
In any case, his main concern right now is just getting through Mega Man 1 still, so...
Yeah, for sure. Should be perfectly fine in this one here.
Definitely.
Oh man, if he had that fight last time, he would have been fine. But really, yeah, just really unfortunate there.
Definitely. Anyway, he moves on to Bomb Man, and we got Airman and 2woGood's side.
So yeah, 2woGood going with air second here, which means we won't see fast air, but we will see item 2 in heat stage, so he can skip the Yoku blocks, which is a little bit faster than actually riding them. So he'll lose some time here, but he'll save some time in heat. Not much really to say about this screen here. Just sort of have to ride these platforms. You can set up a skip here where you make a really far jump from that last cloud platform to the edge, but 2woGood's not even bothering to set it up. He's just going to play it safe. No point in really risking it at the moment. With the lead that he does have, he could potentially go for... How the runners, want to play. If they ski, they will. If they don't, they'll probably just stick to what they know.
Yeah.
Normal has pretty terrible drop rates when it comes to ammo and health. As you can see, 2woGood getting a lot of large ammo and a lot of large health.
Looks like another unfortunate death on negaZeus' side there.
Yeah. Trying to set up this bomb zip. Oh, again.
Yeah, and he got a game over that time.
I was gonna say, that's another game over, I think, yeah. Too bad. Mega Man 1, dude. This game is not easy. You can't just, like... If you're gonna go for this... on them, maybe you put more time to the other games, it can easily do exactly what it's doing to negaZeus right now, so... 2woGood is out of air, so already heading to heat here. But yeah, like this game is not easy by any means. I know I feel like I'm saying it a lot, but it really isn't. Like, Mega Man 1, especially if you don't use the select glitch, this is probably like the hardest game casually, I would think. The boss fights are pretty hard when you're playing this game for the first time. 2woGood tries to get the 3 throw, but doesn't quite get it. Throws his item accidentally the wrong way, so... There we go. Zeus is in. Oh, 2woGood tried to get his setup for a zip here, but he accidentally didn't climb down far enough, so fell all the way to the floor, but he does set it up from down below, and here comes his item 2 flop.
Oh, that's got to be restful for Nega. He got past Bombman, so he seems to be doing okay now.
And quick if he was going to grab that one for safety, so kind of a nice little convenience also.
So apparently I'm having issues with voice right now, so give me a minute.
Alright. If I dip in and out because of that, I'm not too worried. I'll just keep talking like it's fine.
Just keep doing your thing.
So 2woGood into the Heat fight. Heat is the most random boss in Mega Man 2. You can potentially lose up to about 7 seconds here just to RNG in this fight. And 2woGood not really getting a great pattern from Heat either, so kind of unfortunate there. But Heat can charge after 30, 60, or 90 frames after you shoot him, which is half second, 1 second, or 1.5 seconds, basically. And so... based on his pattern, you can definitely lose a lot of time there. negaZeus must have missed stage selected because he's back in cut, so he's going to have to take a game over here again so he can go back to the stage select. Also has to be careful to make sure he selects stage select there, because in a lot of the other Mega Mans, the first option is stage select. But Mega Man 1, it's actually continues, so if you ever accidentally do that, you have to make sure you select the right one. I've definitely accidentally overmashed, start thinking, oh yeah, go back to stage select, and then been sent back to the stage I just game overed in. So 2woGood into Crash Man stage now. He's going to be setting up this zip from the second screen. This zip is sort of the first crazy thing you're probably going to see in Mega Man 2 besides your standard zips. Because this one, you're basically going to zip to a different screen in the stage, and then you're going to kill yourself once you pass the checkpoint, and that allows you to respawn at the halfway point checkpoint, skipping a bunch of the stage. So he's actually on a different screen right now, that's why he appears to be walking through the geometry. And he's just going to take a death here and respawn at the checkpoint. Saves you a little bit of time. We'll see a very similar zip to that one in Woodman stage as well once the runners get there. So negaZeus is going to get to his Gutsman fight here. Not quite getting his manipulation on the bomb, but Guts goes down. So he's got to be feeling pretty good to just get out of that game, I think, and move on. Pretty rough start, even for him, so I think he's got to be feeling pretty good to just be out of it and into Mega Man 2 as well.2woGood hits the Crash Man door. See if you can get a lucky pattern from Crash. You want to see a high jump from Crash, and that way you can get a double hit with your air shooter. Unfortunately doesn't get it though, so has to hit him a second time. That's alright though, it's still a pretty fast fight. It's sort of worth... So talking about the Mega Man 2 route a little bit, basically this route is designed to get the items first, because the items are used for zipping. So you go to the stages basically to get, item 3, 1, and 2, and that allows you to zip, it allows you to fly across some terrible sections with item 2. It's just really speeds up sort of the process of the other stages. Very similar to how the Super Arrow speeds up Mega Man 5, so it's pretty important to go get those if you're doing the standard any % route. 2woGood setting up the first zip of Quick. He's got it. And he's going with the lights off, it looks like, so...
If you want to keep those lights on, you better start turning earlier.
Yeah, you have to turn sort of about halfway through that zip if you want to keep the lights on. Just for a really short time, like probably even less than half a second. You probably only have to turn for like a frame even. I'm not really sure, but it's just a really quick thing at a very specific spot so that the you basically spawn the trigger for the lights. If you don't do that, then obviously you zip right past the trigger and you get to do these rooms in the dark like you see 2woGood doing them right now.
Nothing wrong with doing them in the dark, though. You just have to memorize where you're going.
Yeah, he's going for the last zip as well. Ooh, okay, he's in. So that zip is kind of scary because you can soft lock the game if you overzip. So, but 2woGood nails it.
So a soft lock isn't nearly as scary in 2 as it is 2 and later as it is in 1 because you do have the password system to fall back on. But
it's true, yeah.
Still, you lose some, a minute or two because you have to go back and find the password and move on from there.
And replay the whole stage too, which kind of sucks in this game anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's only got 3 stages left in Mega Man 2. And Zeus also going air seconds, so we won't be seeing any fast air in this race. Fast air is a pretty hard strat to do, especially if you haven't practiced it a lot though, so not overly surprising. We have seen quite a few fast airs in the tournament though, so I think we'll be seeing a lot of them as we get into like the bracket here after the pool play is all finished and decided.
Mm-hmm.
2woGood also going for this really short zip. Only saves about half a second if you do it like really fast, so it's not a really big time save, but it's a nice one to go for.
And something about if you do it frame perfect, it like soft locks.
You do, yeah. You get sort of locked in that 1x2 tile if you do it frame perfect. So it's important if you go for it to make sure you take a little bit of extra time right before it goes off, so that you don't do that.
So the reason that 2 disappeared earlier when he had that first setup, he just did it a little too high, I hear. Is that how that works? If you do it too high, it disappears. If you do it too low, you get hit.
For which? Oh, the item 2 you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put the item 2 too high, for whatever reason it despawns. I'm not sure if it's hitting some sort of like imaginary... something to do with the enemy, or if it's hitting some sort of imaginary like wall that it thinks is there, but... for whatever reason, yeah, if you put it a little too high, it sort of despawns.
Dang imaginary walls.
Yeah, I'm guessing it has something to do with the actual enemy placement, because it disappears at the enemy, right? So
makes sense.
It's got to be something to do with that, I would guess. Zoda might be able to give you a more specific answer on it, I'm not sure. So, 2woGood into wood.
See if we get some good wood here.
Electing to kill the first dog with heat, that way he doesn't need to go for the little zip in this room to skip the other 2. Is switching to item 1, so he's going to be going for the good wood zip here. So again, very similar to the Crash Man stage, you're basically zipping to screens you're not actually seeing. You're like further into the stage, and so you still have to remember where the pits are, because you can still die.
Ugh. Okay.
Oof, very nice. Almost home free here. He just has to climb up here and take the death, and he gets it.
just fine. Not a particularly difficult zip, just really convoluted. A lot of steps to it.
Yeah, it's not that hard when you know how to do it, but it's definitely not something you're just gonna fluke your way through. Like, you gotta know certain times what you have to do.
Definitely.
Zeus also getting that really nice low item too, so he gets the 1-up on the way by. It's kind of a nice little bonus.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need the extra life in the run, but if you end up taking an extra death somewhere, it's nice if you need to do the zips and crash and wood stage.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people pick the 1-up in quick stage just for that reason. As a backup, sort of, but usually you don't need it, but in a race setting, you know, it's kind of a nice backup, just because sometimes things go wrong. And he finally down there. Gave him sort of an average pattern, got like a 30 or 2, mostly 60s and 90s though again, so kind of a jerk, but he just does that.
Yeah.
2woGood going for the A trigger, a lot safer than the B trigger. Ooh, gets bonked by the fish. Those fish actually deal a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But thankfully you have usually a lot of health for this section, so it's not too big of a deal. As you can see, he's not even worried about the bubble fight. Like, he's not even going to go back and get that one.
Bubble Man stage, you really don't have to worry about your health too much, other than, you know, instant death.
Yeah. And 2woGood is done with Mega Man 2, and off to Mega Man 3. Meanwhile, negaZeus setting up for the Crashman zip. He's in the right spot, and he's got it. Too good into Mega Man 3. It's the first Mega Man game now that has the slide. So we'll be seeing a lot faster movement now with the ability to do that throughout stages. There's not really as many zips anymore at this point. There's a couple in 1 and 3 and 1 and 4. But we're not going to see any zips in 5 or 6. And potentially we might not even see any in 3 and 4, depending on if the runners don't get the... They're not free by any means. You have to set them up, so we may not see any more at this point. Magna First is a good choice for Mega Man 3, especially for newer runners. You get an E-Tank fairly early on when you do Hardman. It's the second stage. And the Magnet Missile makes a lot of the stages a little bit easier as well. Zeus coming into the Crashman fight. See if he can get the lucky pattern of the high jump.
In a little trouble, but managed okay.
Yeah, both runners unfortunately getting that sort of more aggressive lower jump. So no double hits today. Too good into the Magnet fight. Magnet is a really good choice as a first boss, similar to Top, because they both take double damage from the Buster. They take 2 damage. So that's why those 2 routes are actually more preferred. You can do Gemini first as well, but it does require some pretty good wiggle mashing, where you have to fire left and right, left and right, left and right, back and forth really fast. So the Top and Magnet routes are usually considered to be the better choices.
I've seen some pretty good mashing fights on Gemini, making it really fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you can do that fight with the Gemini First route, it's actually it's one of my favorite Buster fights, actually. It's really cool. And that route is still pretty decent, too. It's not much slower than the other two routes. It's very, very, very similar.
Looks like negaZeus was able to keep the lights on.
Yeah, doing that little turn back. 2woGood going for some despawn strats on these bees in Hardman stage. It saves magnet for the boss fight, so you don't have to worry about running out. Normally you would kill a couple of those bees with magnet missile, but
sometimes
make sure
timing those magnets too can be a little troublesome.
Yeah, it is. Like magnet missile, like a lot of people think because it homes in on enemies that it's really good. I honestly, well, and it is good, but people almost forget too, like you still have to aim, like same with like the dive missile in 4, like just because the weapons sort of track enemies doesn't make them, you know, perfect. Especially for like an NES game when, you know, you basically dealt with cardinal directions and then diagonals and that was all you got. So magnet missile does have to be sort of aimed a little bit. You can't just fire it all willy-nilly.
Looks like he had some trouble on Quick Man here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really taking some pretty unfortunate deaths, but also like just having to redo anything is always, it always makes you scared for multiple reasons. One, you're losing time, obviously, but two, it's like if you take, you know, more, especially more than one death, you got to be thinking about your life situation.
Sometimes
we've seen it already.
Do I want to check my lives and see how I'm doing? Do I take a death?
Yeah. Yeah, like you really have to think about it sometimes, and obviously, like that's been an issue for him already with the Mega Man 1 game. So he's, you know, you got to be thinking about it a little bit now. He did get that extra life though in Heat, and he may have even picked up the one in Quick. I didn't actually see, but
I think he did because now he's down to 2 lives. And
yeah, so he must have. 2woGood doing the damage, or the non-deboost fight, so he does get frozen, but I think that looked like that was part of his plan, so... Intended. 2 stages down for him in Mega Man 3. Looks like his item 2 should be fine.
It was fine, but he just missed that,
and now he's getting
there.
Sort of bumped around a little bit by some of these enemies.
Ooh. Looks like he's fine there.
Yeah, okay. A little bit of a rough metal stage, but... just getting to the boss door means you should be fine, because this boss fight is, especially on normal, there's no way to describe it other than just it's one of those few things that I would actually call free, because you don't have to do like almost anything. Just hold B and jump.
It's pretty hard to die to Metal Man.
Yeah. Nice benefit of doing Magnet first, and Gemini first, really. You have alternate weapons to kill these cats in top. They have 10 health, so with Buster in the top first route, they can be pretty difficult, especially for a new runner. Like, I would never recommend top first to a new Mega Man 3 runner. Like, your mashing just needs to be, you know, sort of pretty decent to make it pretty good.
Yeah, I remember several years ago, I think top first was like the only route. I think that was just the only route discussed. And
yeah, I think
it was just you had to learn how to mash pretty heavily while jumping. And that was
I remember Fasta talking about it. It was something like Magnet first used to be a thing because an old task did it, and then top first came in, and you know, Tiki sort of made that popular a little bit, and then Gemini first took over when Hoda Ruby came in on the scene. And that really was, up until really even maybe a year ago, Gemini first was still like the standard route for everybody.
Yeah, that was around for a long time.
Yeah. And it wasn't until Fasta came on the scene and actually put a lot of work into Magnet first that it actually became a viable route. And then top first became the top dog again once some people put in a little bit of effort to figure out the paraZeus screen with top spin. So
looks like Nega made the ladder there for the
ooh, yep.
wood zip.
Just barely makes it.
Gets good wood. Very nice.
Yep, he's got it. 2woGood mashing through Proto. He's got 28 health, so it takes quite a bit of mashing, and you have to be jumping at the same time too to get a lot of hits in. So it's kind of a tricky fight with the Proto fights. But
so it is confirmed 28 or 20.
So he has 28 health in the stages, like in Magnet and all these stages here. You do actually in the game, when you play the game in the standard speedrun, you fight Proto Man again later, like his own little level after you defeat the Doc robots. And he's only got 24 in that one, and I'm not really sure why.
Weird.
Like, it's really bizarre, but he has 4 less health in that fight specifically. But all the stages, yeah, he has 28.
So the same as Mega Man then, and all the
correct.
robot
Yes.
monsters. That's pretty interesting. So 2woGood just slides through that section with the magnets and doesn't get phased by the pickups. Very nice.
And you see, like, that room with Magnet is so easy. Like, the top first runners trying to go through it with top spin is just so much harder.
Yeah. So tell me, is it tapping or just you can hold it down and you're fine?
No, it's not tapping. Fasta. So I think Checkers said that you just tap E to not lose your top spin. I think maybe in his GDQ run or something. And so because he said that in there, for a long time everybody just said, "Oh yeah, you just tap E and you're fine." So it's a sort of a running joke. I like to say it because I know it really bothers Fast.
Yeah.
When he hears people say that, because it's not true. Your top spin is used based on how long you stay inside Shadow Man's hitbox and you're spinning. So typically, you hit B once, you hit him once, and then you take damage. And while you're in iframes, you hit B a second time, and you don't get hit again, obviously, until your iframes wear off. So you have a really strong chance of using a lot of top spin on your second jump. And so you have to be kind of careful. You want to make sure that the top spin doesn't sort of pull you in, because you kind of get knocked back a little bit when you get stuck with top.
Right.
So the danger is really to sort of get pulled into his hitbox. Oh, 2woGood doesn't quite get his jump. So we're gonna get the Proto Man cutscene. But yeah, definitely if you're watching Fasta play Mega Man 3 and he's fighting Shadow Man, you should definitely bring up the fact that you heard all you gotta do is tap B.
Which GDQ was this that Checkers brought
That Checkers did? I want to say 2014?
SGDQ?
I think so. If you search like Mega Man 3 and GDQ, Checkers Run is typically the first one that comes up.
Okay.
So it's probably pretty easy to find if you just Google search it, but I think yes.
Good times. Nega's not really looking too well on the health here in Top Man's right now, so...
No. If he can get past the last cat, which is pretty far in...
He survived the... No!
Okay.
Those
bullets, dude, no! Oh no. So that's not the checkpoint. He's gonna have to replay the stage.
Dang.
Start. And he's not getting any of these little hopper kills either, so he's getting a ton of lag. Top's first screen is notorious for being really laggy, so...
Yeah, too many enemies.
Getting a lot. Yeah.
So, 2's just hopping along in his Rush Marine.
Yep.
Does just fine.
No, it would have been 2014 Conster, because 2015, SGDQ 2015 was the year that I was there, so...
Yeah, 2014's the one I went to, so... I think I seem to recall that. It was like all the Mega Man runs. But then again, GDQ doesn't have Mega Man runs.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, so yeah, taking an E-Tank here, that's probably a good choice.
Good thing he's got 3 of them. 4 of them.
Yeah, he picked up both the ones in Gemini stage here and the one in hard, so a really good buffer.
If there's anything I die from in Mega Man 3, it's not really bosses, it's pits.
Yeah, there's a lot of spikes and pits in 3. Fasta would argue that there's way more in 4, and that I'm making this up when I say there's a lot in 3, but there is a lot in 3. I mean, you do have Hardman stage, which is kind of cool and unique in that Hardman literally has no spikes or pits. It's a very rare thing to see in Mega Man.
They replaced all the pits and spikes with bees.
Yeah, bees and Met Dozers and more bees.
Nega's going against Top Man, just... Oh yeah, he started with him, so gotta rely on the Buster.
Yeah, so he is going with the faster route, but unfortunately due to that death, he's not going to pick up any time on 2woGood with it. Meanwhile, 2woGood is going into Needleman stage, or as Elo has so conveniently coined, Friedel. It's a really short stage, but there's a lot of enemies in it that sort of are there to sort of designed to slow you down, and a lot of those enemies actually deal quite a bit of damage to you. So if you're gonna do any deboosting, you know, it's gonna take a toll on your health pretty fast.
The needles do quite a bit of damage too. The ones that are just come from the top of the ceiling, right?
Yeah, those needle presses. I want to say they deal. It's either 5 or 6. I think it's 6. So you have to be a little careful. And then the Stomper in the last room that we usually deboost through also deals quite a bit of damage. So if you want to have enough health to take a couple hits for the Needleman fight, you got to make sure that you manage your health wisely. And 2woGood's just taking it safe, and he's got full health, so he should be, you know, pretty safe here.
Yeah.
Laser Dill, you only have to hit him 4 times, so...
The stage itself isn't too long, though.
Right, yeah. Gets a nice little rebound shot at the end, so...
Very good.
Good. Meanwhile, Zeus is now into Shadow, so because he went top first, like we said, he's not going to have Magnet Missile for the Paraseus screen, so we're going to either see him try to go across with Buster or Top Spin. We've seen a lot of runners like bait out the Paraseus instead of going for the crazy jumps, so we'll see if he goes for that instead.
Slower but safer, and, well, won't die as easily, but...
Yeah.
Yeah,
at this point it's like...
It looks like...
Yep, he's switching. At this point too, it's like, how risky do you really want to be, because, you know, Mega Man 1 and 2 were pretty mean to you, so...
Yeah, I guess he's got a lot of ground to make up. He's gonna take the risk if he wants to.
A lot of people actually think that Top Spin's not a very good weapon. I actually kind of want to point out, Top Spin, if Top Spin deals damage to something in this game, it one-shots it. So it's actually a pretty good weapon. It's just, a lot of people, you know, only used it for Shadow Man and got, that glitch where you get your energy drained, so they just assume that the weapon's not very good.
For example, the final boss.
Yeah, exactly that. I don't think too many people knew about that. I never knew about it until I saw a speedrun. Or even like the golems in Wily 4 when you're heading to the refights, they are one-shotted by Top Spin. Like,
the ones with
actually,
the trash cubes?
Yeah, that throw the blocks at you.
And on that note, Power Stone is a great weapon too.
Yeah, thanks Vlad, for that. I know there's been talk, actually, Lion, about considering to try to submit 46 for a GDQ. I know some of the guys in the Classic Mega community were actually considering trying to just do a Mega Man relay, and Darkman actually tried to set that up this year for AGDQ, but we didn't quite get enough people for it.
I'm not sure how he went left there, but yeah.
I think maybe he thought, well, either he was going to try to back deboost it, or he was trying to just avoid the flame completely. I'm not sure which, but... Gemini is a pretty tough stage, too, so... It was actually one of the nice things about Gemini first, when Hoda Ruby brought it in, because you got one of the hardest stages out of the way immediately.
that's really good in the speedrun itself too. Is just Gemini first.
Yeah.
And you're just done with it, and you can just move on to the rest of the stages.
2woGood gets a really nice pattern from Snake. Snake doesn't shoot any of his small lag snakes, so really good execution there to make sure he does die before he gets those off.
Nega got the Proto Man skip, so that gained a little bit of time for him.
Yeah, and not going for the zip, so just gonna mash his way through the tadpoles. The tadpoles actually kind of work like Mega Buster. You can only have 3 of them on screen at once. So you see a lot of runners will actually shoot some of the eggs just to get them off screen, or get the tadpoles on screen, and that way you can mash through the rest of the eggs, but...
So, he just damage boosted straight through the glitch penguin producers. How much damage is that compared to just taking from the little penguins?
It's either 2 or 4 more, I forget exactly. I want to say that maybe like the penguins deal 6, and then the makers deal either 8 or 10. But yeah, it's a little faster to do that, but it's, yeah, you take a little more damage, so you gotta make sure you've got the health for it. For a race setting, if you are concerned about your health, like you saw him there, like there is that health that he picked up. Ooh, he didn't back deboost and takes another death.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to pick a direction, and then before you've decided, it's too late.
Yeah. He needs to be very careful now, too, because, again...
he did pick up that extra life, so that helps a little bit, but if he keeps losing time like this, it's not going to help him much. His progress.
Yeah, it looked like when he menued, he had no lives left, so... he's through it this time, though.
2woGood taking the safe route. Safe but laggier. Rush jet.
Yep, makes that screen really easy. Really no way to fail it if you do that, so... Mega Man 3 down. So, 2woGood cruising right now. He's actually about 2 minutes ahead of his PB as well, so really solid for him at the moment.
Very nice. So, with the Gemini fight with the weakness, it's, you know, Shadow Blades are 2 damage as opposed to 1, but you do lose that range a little bit.
Yeah, and Zeus not electing to go for the actual, like, the strat. He's just taking his time. Maybe he's a little concerned of soft locking. You can get a soft lock here if you're not careful. The way Gemini works is, like, he has his 2 forms jumping around the room, and it doesn't trigger... Basically, when a form hits the ground, on the left side of the screen there, it checks to see if it's like the only one alive, and if it is, then he switches to his second phase. But if it's not, he'll continually run then across the room and do another jump. And if you kill both forms before it sort of triggers into the second phase, that's where you'll get your soft locks, so... We've seen it happen a few times in the tournament already, so... Maybe something he was thinking about.
So a hint to speedrunners, don't play fast. Or too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you know how to do the fight, with Buster and with Shadow Blade, it's actually hard to do. Like, if you execute the fight the way you want to do it, you're very rarely ever going to see that. Like, you would have to make a mistake, basically, to see it. Whereas anybody who does, like, that needle first route, which is a little more uncommon, they have Snake for that fight, and so it's a lot easier to have happen because Snake is his actual weakness and deals 4 damage, so it doesn't take very many to kill him, so those runners have to sort of watch out for that.
He's got a bullet following him right now.
Yeah, it's chasing him. I think he'll be okay here. But...
yeah, it was far back enough that it wasn't going to be a stumbling block there.
Yeah. He did forget to charge, though, so he's going to have... He'll lose about a second and a half for that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure now... He did shoot him with a lemon at the beginning of the fight, so he wants to only do charge shots now to finish off this fight.
Got to keep the multiples of 3 going here.
Yeah. Brightman only flashes the screen at set HP values, so as long as he keeps them off those values, then he'll never get flashed, and he did a good job of doing that, so. Meanwhile, Zeus is off to Magnet, halfway through his Mega Man 3 robots.
I guess I don't really know the top route well enough to... So he goes from Needle to Magnet? I guess you could choose from there whether you go to Snake or Magnet, but...
Yeah, we usually leave Snake to near the end, that way
right,
the menus are... You don't want to get Snake in your menu too soon, basically, because then every single time you menu to the other side, like when you hit B and go over to like Coil or whatever, you have Snake in your menu, which means you have an extra input to go over to like Coil or whatever.
Right, that makes sense.
So it's a minor optimization, not a huge deal.
Right.
But
I can see it becoming a problem because when you have, for example, the Magnet route, you have to get to the hard knuckle. You have to press down twice to get to that.
And same, like, if you think going to Hardman, like, you gotta go to Coil, or even here in Magnet, he wants to go to Jet. So, I mean, yeah, it's just little things.
So he got the
riding
balloon,
these.
no problem.
He did get the balloon, alright. So that'll save him a little bit of time if he goes for the strats in Ring and Skull. The balloon not heavily used in 8 robots, but it does still save you a little bit of time, so...
Also, getting a little bit ahead in Pharaoh stage, although I guess I don't really know the time difference versus playing Pharaoh stage normally.
If it's faster to get the balloon, it's like maybe 1 or 2 frames. Like, I'm not even joking, it's actually almost identical. Okay. I did a comparison. They're very, 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 very close.
Mega Man 4 is your game, right?
Yeah, it's the one that I learned first.
Okay.
Really fun.
I should just be quiet and leave it to you.
Nah, it's alright. Pharaoh is actually a lot easier if you stay really close to him. So you see Pharaoh's giving him a lot of charged up patterns to fire at him. And that's actually because 2woGood's staying really close to him. If you try to get further away from Pharaoh, he starts to become a lot more aggressive. So 2woGood getting a very, very nice pattern there, killing him pretty close to the center.
See if he gets that magic pixel.
He's close. Oh, just a hair off. So Zeus also electing to despawn the bees instead of killing them with magnets. So he won't pick up any time there on 2woGood, but doesn't quite despawn the third one. Gets a few bees. So here we go, he's going to Balloon, so we'll see how this pays off for him.
Gotta take a few more damage boosts with Balloon, but overall it's definitely faster.
Yeah, these, especially like the vertical screens, like you see him flying through this top. That was actually a pretty decent climb. It kind of sucks if you like get bonked and then fall back down, but that climb there that he did, that was pretty nice. Took his intended D boosts and made it. Does get hit a second time by this hippo, which could be problematic. But we'll see what he decides to do. He might grab this health here. He's going the low route, so.
Yeah.
Oh, can you get back up? Okay.
Ooh, he's cutting it close there.
Ooh.
Meanwhile,
Zeus taking a lot of hits.
He's got plenty of V-tanks to spare, so might as well use one on Proto Man.
I'm seeing a lot of 2woGood's charges in 4. Actually, he's shooting the Buster a lot after firing a charge. I don't know if he knows you don't actually have to do that. Oh! getting bonked by that Saturn into the pit. That's not a terrible death, because he's past the checkpoint.
I've seen that Saturn take so many runners down in this tournament.
Yeah, it's interesting, because if you move, like if you just slide and go for it, he'll never be low enough to hit you. But yeah, if you hesitate at all and like sort of think about it, then you're sort of at the risk.
Yeah. At that point, it's just better to switch to Pharaoh.
Yeah, Pharaoh's nice because you have that charge above your head. It'll take care of him if you want. Flash also, though, Flash Stopper is also a pretty good option, like keeping him in place. And 2woGood getting the damageless second ring mini boss kill, so he's full health going into this ring fight. He should be fine.
Should be safe fight.
Can't get any safer than this, basically. Just missed a Pharaoh shot there. A couple Pharaoh shots.
Having some.
He's gonna run out actually.
Issues.
So he's gonna have to finish this fight off with Buster. Menu, please. Not even charging. He's just gonna mash him down. So thankfully he has lots of health. Mashing is not really an ideal strat in this one compared to even like 3 because iframes in 4 are quite a bit longer. Yeah. So that's why we don't fight Pharaoh with Bright, for example, because of how long the invincibility frames are.
I'm the safety baby. Thanks, 2woGood. So, and in 4 you don't have to worry about like your charge getting interrupted when you get hit. So. Right.
Yeah. It's kind of a nice. A nice little bonus in 4, whereas they took that away in 5 and 6. 4's Charge Buster is a little smaller, though. It's a lot narrower compared to 5 and 6's, so it's maybe a little harder to hit things with it. But if you know that, then it's not too terrible.
So this is one strategy I haven't seen, is using Pharaoh Shot to get through Dust's stage. Used to seeing Brightman.
So this strat, which is quite a bit harder in my opinion, it doesn't really actually save very much time. Like the difference between Pharaoh strats here and Flash Stopper strats is about half a second. Arguably, I would say that Flash Stopper is a better choice for everybody. It's only if you're crazy and want to try to save that time. Like it requires a lot of luck too. Like for example, the pattern that 2woGood got where he got hit by the Stomper basically means that it's slower. Like you're actually hoping that you get good RNG from the Stomper as well. So there's a lot of things that have to go right to make it faster. But electing to Buster the Crusher here makes it a little bit easier if you're worried about your ring ammo consumption. We've seen a few people do that actually. Skip out on the ring strats.
I do it too. Because I really bad about my ring consumption.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but the ring is kind of awkward to manipulate too. It's not as easy as you might think. You have to actually jump sort of in very specific ways to manipulate it to take out as many blocks as possible. Let's see what kind of pattern Dust gives 2woGood. And jumps, that's good. Let's see more jumps. Well, he got the best pattern, didn't quite execute it correctly though, so gets Dustman killed in the corner. But that's what you want to actually see is all jumps, because if you execute the fight right, he'll die right in the middle of the room.
Is there any way to manipulate that, or is he just gonna do what he
wants?
wants?
Not really. It's the manipulation is similar. So there's 4 Robot Masters that are random, but still have a slight manipulation. Bright, Pharaoh, Dust, and Drill all have what I would call a minor manipulation, I guess. Like, if you do the thing, it is likely that you'll get a good pattern, but it's never 100%. So, like for example, standing close to Pharaoh, you're more likely to get the charge shots, which is what you want typically to keep him in place. Drill, same. If you stand close to him, you're less likely to get a dive. And yeah, in that fight specifically with Dust, the closer you stand to him, the more likely you are to get a jump. The further away you go, you're more likely to get a suck pattern. So Again, standing close is more ideal usually, but it's not 100%, so, you know. I hate to call it an actual manipulation because it's not 100% perfect. But there is a definite, like, you can definitely notice a difference.
Got it. So during that, negaZeus finished Spark's stage, and he didn't use the rush jet getting across, so good finish by him.
Yeah. Pick up a little time there, not only just due to doing the strat that way, but like not having rush on the screen is quite a bit less laggy. So
yeah, somebody mentioned some time ago that it was the advantage of not having an extra sprite that helped save some lag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's already enough with the little screws that spawn in, so taking anything off is ideal. Ooh, we're gonna get bonked into the pit.
Yeah, he
firework guys
made the jump, but didn't anticipate the extra enemy there.
That's actually one of the meanest jumps. Like, a lot of people talk about the 2 jumps in Skull that are pretty difficult. That jump, the jump itself isn't too hard because the platform's lower, but that enemy placement is one of the worst, like, trolliest enemy placements, I think, in the entire game.
Mm-hmm. That gets a lot of new runners.
Yeah, for sure. 2woGood actually gets a pretty nice Skull fight.
Mm-hmm.
Good execution. Good kill. Zeus is going bright first as well, just like 2woGood did. There's not a whole lot to really say about the 2 different routes other than that if you execute Pharaoh first correctly, you'll save about 2.5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty hard to do that. Like, you have to execute the first screens of Pharaoh with Buster really well in order to get that, and the Bright Man fight. So typically I usually recommend people do Bright first just because it's a lot more consistent to get your time saves in that route compared to Pharaoh first.
Yeah, and some people prefer... It's just some people prefer having Bright on the first screens of Pharaoh, and some people prefer having Pharaoh to use against Bright Man.
Yeah.
So, Mega Man 4 is fun, that you can't jump out of slides underwater. I have no idea why they made that a design choice, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if it was intentional, to be honest. Like, in 4 and 5, you have that issue where it just won't let you jump out of your slide, and I don't know if it's something to do with the actual water physics themselves, or if it's something that they actually intended, but it's kind of a little annoyance that you have to be a little bit careful of.
You don't notice it in 5's run because you don't have any
Zeus
underwater
can get the
stages.
manipulation on the HP for Bright. It's going well so far. Missing a couple Buster shots here. And we haven't really mentioned it yet because neither of these guys have struggled quite yet with the boss fights. But Mega Man 4 bosses typically deal quite a bit of damage. Every single boss except for Pharaoh deals 8 with body contact, so it's actually really sort of scary for new runners usually. You want to be very careful of your positioning, and I think that's maybe why people elect to stay further away from bosses too. But you really don't want to do that a lot of times in the fights in this game just because of how they become more aggressive when you're further away.
And then there's Dive Man, where you have to basically get right next to him to
Yeah.
hit him.
Yeah, you can fight him with a couple different weapons here. Obviously his main weakness is Skull. You can actually kill him with a soft weakness, which is actually Dust. Dust will deal 3 damage to him, which is a pretty good option as well, especially if you run out of Skull. It's a really good backup.
Right.
But yeah, like it's a little slower just based on it only dealing 3, so you have to hit him 10 times as opposed to 7.
So negaZeus, whether volunteering or just playing missed the jump, has skipped Balloon, so...
I'm gonna guess he missed it because he shook his head when he fell into the pit, so...
Okay.
Yeah. Now, he actually switches the Buster here, in my opinion, a little early. If you're already on Flash Stopper, you should be using it here because you keeping the enemies frozen in place. He's taking a lot of hits here because he didn't stay to Flash Stopper.
He might
And
not
that's
be
probably
used to the route, too, so...
Yeah, maybe not practiced on those rooms. So, kind of unfortunate. His health is going to be quite a bit lower now than he probably would prefer for the Pharaoh fight.
So you've got the Pharaoh's Contact does 6 damage. How much does his Charge Shot do?
Well, actually, his Contact only does 4. His Charge Shot will deal 6.
Okay.
And then the little Pharaohs only deal 2. So if you're going to take hits, like if he's doing the aggressive jumps, you're ideally trying to get hit by the little Pharaoh shots. If you take a body hit, it's not too critical because 4 damage isn't so bad. It's really the only thing you really have to avoid is the large shots.
Now timing in this room is pretty annoying with
the triple turret room.
Yeah.
Yeah, you try to freeze the room when they're open, which is usually like the first 1 or 2 frames that the screen is active. There is an alternative backup strat there where if you freeze and there's bullets on screen, you can sort of jump up like 2woGood did and deboost your way up. But we don't see too many people go for that. We usually see them either do what 2woGood did, to wait for it to unfreeze, or they get knocked down and then climb the ladder from the bottom. So
yeah, worst thing you can do in that room is deboost and then stay on the spikes for too long, because that's the room right before the checkpoint.
Yeah, it's definitely a really bad place to die. You lose about 50 to 55 seconds with a death there, so you really don't want to die there. I would say that's probably the worst stage death, especially in 8 robots, that you can take. Seeing another dive here. Drill can be kind of a jerk, can give you bad patterns, but like I said, if you stay close to him, typically he doesn't give you too bad of a pattern. One more. Alright, he's fine. Took that body hit at the end, but he had plenty of health to deal with it, so... Now, Zeus doesn't have Balloon, so we saw 2woGood go through these rooms with Balloon. So the alternative backup is to use Flash Stopper for these rooms. Freezes the turrets in place, so that you don't have to worry about them sniping you and knocking you back down. Although he did just accidentally fall there.
Yeah. And
so makes these rooms a lot easier without having to worry about the turrets by freezing them. So it's a good backup.
Definitely.
Same in Skull. He won't have the balloon to go for the zip, even if he does go for it or not. I'm not sure if he does. So he'll be able to Flash Stopper the entire stage instead. 2woGood's into Toad. Toad is, again, as most people know, one of the easier boss fights. I think most people casually will start with Toadman when they play 4.
Toadman's a very simple stage.
Yeah, the stage itself is a little tricky. Like, you have a lot of things that work against you that you might not be, prepared for. You got the rain that you just saw 2woGood deal with in the first screen, and then these waterfalls that actually increase your speed a little bit towards the pits. So if you're actually not paying attention, you can actually be pulled off a ledge sometimes into the pits a little bit sooner than you would like. But 2woGood looks like he's making it through here pretty nicely, so he should be fine.
This stage is all about using Bright Stopper, but you also have to learn how Bright Stopper works if you want to really make the best use of it. Because it has its own unique timer.
Yeah, Flash Stopper is interesting because, like, you fire it, and for the next 5 seconds, enemies will be frozen in place. You can fire lemons, which is pretty nice. But the interesting thing is when you slide, that 5-second timer pauses. So if you have really good movement and you can chain your slides together nicely, you can usually make one flash last like an entire screen, which is pretty useful.
So like the entire first screen at the beginning, he was sliding the entire time, so he was able to make that flash last a lot longer. Yeah.
And then if you get through the stage, you're rewarded with this boss fight, which is pretty nice.
Boss fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Air quotes, for sure. And decent ring fight there from Zeus, just doing the damageless fight, playing it safe. 2woGood's into Mega Man 5 already. Starting with Star, because we want to get the Super Arrow as soon as possible.
Star Song.
Star Song, yep. Mega Man 5 really does change quite a bit of little things. Even though the physics themselves with regards to jumping and sliding feel very much like Mega Man 4. The Charge Buster is obviously pretty overpowered in this game. You see how it's larger, it's pierces through enemies, so it's a pretty powerful weapon to use in 5. The slight changes though that they made is, like we said in while we were watching them go through 4, is if you take damage you lose your charge, which is kind of an unfortunate penalty, but it sort of makes you want to try to dodge enemies. It also, in 5, has sort of an extra negative thing where if you're sliding, you don't charge. Like, your timer for the charge pauses while you're sliding, so runners sometimes will have to slow down a little bit to make sure they get a full charge.
I also noticed, specifically in Starman stage, that if you're charging while you're off-screen, it doesn't charge.
Also, yeah, that is also correct. And you'll see that in the screen that 2woGood's about to enter here. You'll be doing some jumps off-screen. Another thing, too, is you can't actually mash in this game. Enemies have 8 frames of invincibility frames, so it basically is a way, I think, that they wanted to push runners to use the Charge Buster more and prevent them from being able to mash enemies down. So Mega Man 5 actually has some interesting screens because you have to use the charge in certain scenarios to go fast. Notice 2woGood standing really close to Star. You can actually shoot Star right through his shield if you're close enough to him. So
one thing I just noticed on negaZeus' stream, he didn't go to Dustman. So he's stuck fighting Skullman with the Buster.
Yeah, and if you don't actually understand how Skull works, he can be a pretty tricky fight. You actually manipulate Skull based on what you press on the controller. So, like, when he's looking to do a new action, if you press left or right first, he'll start shooting at you, like he's doing now. Ooh, taking a death there. Or if you press B before you press left or right, he'll jump at you right away. And he'll do that up to a maximum of 2 times in a row. Like, he'll only shoot you twice in a row, and then he'll jump no matter what. So there is a sort of limitation to his pattern a bit. So typically, in the speedrun, the only RNG in this fight is how long Skull keeps his shield up. He can keep it up for as long as that, like 4 seconds, or just, like, literally almost drop it immediately, so that was a nice pattern there. Taking a hit from projectile, obviously better option, because again, Skull deals 8 damage with his body, projectiles only 4, so if you're gonna take a hit, you might as well try to make sure it's a projectile. But gets it on the second try.
It's just fine getting through there.
Heading to Dust with Skull's weapon, it's not really gonna help him out, but he just has to be careful because it's in his menu now, so shouldn't change his menus, but2woGood is through gravity, basically, just coming into the last screen. Gravity fight is kind of nice, because again, it's a scripted fight. It's the exact same every single time, so as long as he gets his hits in, everything should be okay. Good fight.
Easy every time. Unfortunately, on negaZeus' side.
Yeah, another death there. So Dust is, I consider Dust to be the hardest stage in 8 Robots, and probably the game too. That lag room there that he was going through with the red blocks, yeah, it's actually the laggiest room in the entire game. So it's easy sometimes if you're not thinking to let go of A little too early and cut a jump too short. And I think that's what we saw there on for that death for negaZeus. So heading back to the stage, he accidentally hit stage select, so he had to go back and re-enter the stage manually.2woGood starting to show some of the arrow strats. Has a really nice fly in that first screen, leaving him with that 1 ammo so he can arrow up to grab the ammo there. And gets the second screen. Oh, he gets bumped off by the arrow! That's too bad, because that was actually a decent enough setup. He had the right height on that arrow.
negaZeus on a second go around manages to get through that laggy screen.
Yeah, and gets to the checkpoint, which is pretty important. His health is a little low. I don't know if he's... No, he hasn't got any E-tanks, so... I'm not sure what Eddie just gave him, but it wasn't health. It was an E-tank, actually, so that might actually be helpful. He's... I don't know if he's seen it yet,
Whoa.
but... Okay! Has to be a little careful there.
So,
Kind of gets a little lucky getting actually hit there was a good thing.
I don't know if getting hit here will be good if he gets hit again.
He doesn't really want to take any more damage. A bullet from a Met would only deal 2, but the Stomper and this Gumball machine coming up. Yeah, he's definitely in danger now.
Oh, he got an E-tank, just as long as he didn't fall into the spikes.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna use the E-tank. Using E-tanks in 4 is kind of unfortunate, because just like in a boss fight, a lot of people talk about how the boss's health takes a long time to fill in 4. The E-tanks do the same thing, actually. They take a long time for them to fill up your health, so it's kind of like a little bit of an extra punishment in 4.
I forget, are M-tanks in 4, or did those get introduced in 5?
No, in 5, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is some good luck for him.
Yeah, Dust being kind of a jerk here. You can make Dust reset his pattern. If he starts to suck you in like that, if you deboost into his body, it will make him choose a new action. Now, he can choose his new action to be another suck, but usually he's not that terrible, because you're usually close to him when you deboost, so he'll usually jump. Yeah, kind of some bad luck there for Zeus on Dust. So 2woGood gets to Crystal. It's going to be setting up the warp here, the death warp. Needs to get his health really low. And now there's a setup with this arrow. Oh, he fired it the wrong way. Alright, there he goes. He's got it. So he takes the death on the same frame that second one spawns, and now we wait for about 40 more seconds. And for whatever reason, the game just says, hey, you can have the boss corridor.
So long as you get an extra life in store. Which
I don't have to imagine that, Baron. I think that's a YouTube video. It's called 10 Hours of Mega Man Health Refill. I'm not even joking. That's a YouTube video. You can search it. It's there.
Why don't we have that in our playlist?
I want to say it's actually the M tank from 5 that they used for it. And it like refills the entire ammo thing, and then it just replays that over and over and over again. Getting another E-tank actually from Eddie there, so again, another nice backup for Zeus.2woGood fighting Crystal. Pretty easy to fight Crystal with this strat, since you always get to the fight with full health, so... Ooh, Zeus not quite getting enough hits in there. You try to usually freeze those whales at a height where you can just do a full jump and then you can mash freely. But those whales have 14 health, so they do take quite a bit of hits. Using Pharaoh Shot here, this is kind of interesting. I don't know if that was an accidental menu or if that's his normal strat there. Jumps a little too high, though. Another death. Just gonna have to redo this whale here. Now there's actually an alternative strat to these whales that I think we've only seen Primal do in one of his races. You can actually use Balloon to jump over the whales. It's a little precise, but
I've seen a few racers attempt it, but
yeah, it's actually faster than doing, killing him. The problem is the menu to Balloon costs you more time than the strat actually saves, though. So, like, in a game like Anniversary Collection, where you have quick weapon swapping, it would actually be the strat of choice. But in the original game, unfortunately not.
And Anniversary Collection kind of isn't allowed in these races.
Yeah, and we're not... Yeah, exactly. Anniversary Collection has actually 0 lag, so unfortunately it's not allowed for this tournament. Ooh, another death. This time to dive, man. It's not a game over, though, which is really fortunate. He won't have enough skull either this time. Oh, no, he does. As long as he does the fight perfectly, he'll be fine. He's got just 1 over half, which is... You only need 7 hits to kill dive, but typically you want 8, because then you can use 1 skull to get rid of the missile that's flying around, like he did there. So, that's like the perfect ammo to have. Let's see how 2woGood's napalm fight goes. It's gonna go for the standard, easier fight. He gets a lot of napalm bombs this way, which is a little laggy. But the fight is a lot easier, I think, by doing it this way. I think Anniversary Collection also has an auto-fire button, which is not allowed as well. There's no turbo allowed. That being said, the turbo that's in Anniversary Collection is terrible. Like, I can mash faster than the turbo in Anniversary Collection. With 1 thumb. So, it's not really an advantage.
You also can't zip in Mega Man 2 in Anniversary Collection. So.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't played 2's Anniversary Collection, so I actually didn't know that. That's interesting. So that would actually make it slower anyway, then.
In that regard, yeah.
Huh.
They also force you to play the difficult version of Mega Man 2. So, slow text and harder bosses.
Harder bosses. Huh.
So, if you ever want to play Mega Man 2 on Anniversary Collection, you pretty much have every disadvantage available to you, other than lag.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do that, because at some point here I want to route Mega Man 4 on it. With the quick weapon swapping, I think it would be pretty fun. So I'll have to play through all the games when I do that. I actually do own it, but it's on GameCube, and I refuse to play that on GameCube now.
I have mine on GameCube too.
They reverse the A and B buttons on you in that version. It's pretty terrible.
I don't mind playing on the D-pad, but yeah, the A and B is pretty bad.
Right. So Zeus has to be a little careful here. His health is pretty low. He did get that E-Tank, which I'm wondering if he's going to use that now.
Yeah, it looks like he is.
Yeah, good choice. He only had enough health to take maybe 1 drill projectile hit, so it would have been a pretty risky fight.
Unfortunately for 2woGood, he missed a jump.
And that's after using all his arrows, so he's now going to have to replay this long screen without arrow.
Vouching. Looks like he's just vouching to damage boost through all these enemies here, because
yeah,
who knows how to really do this screen otherwise. I mean, you can use the charge buster to shoot behind their shields, but it's a little close for comfort.
I think we've seen a few people use actually gravity as a backup here, which isn't actually that bad of an idea, because it gets rid of all the tellies, but it does mean then that you got to do the last screen with probably Napalm Bomb, just to save yourself a menu. Take the B-boost there.
Also, it takes 2 gravity holds to take care of the shield dudes.
Yeah, they don't die in one. Only the tellies do. Here he is into the last room of stone. And negaZeus is into Toadman, so he's almost finished with 4. Actually, to be honest, since Mega Man 1, negaZeus hasn't been doing too terribly. I think he's actually gained about 2 or 3 minutes since Mega Man 1 on his PB, so... Ooh! Another...
He just got a game over there.
Well, if you're gonna take one, you might as well take it on the first screen of Toad, because... Yeah, you wouldn't want to take one halfway through that stage. Just showing again why that rain is a little tricky. It does push Mega Man back, so you actually have to make this jump a little bit further than you think. That's a little bit better there.
That time, okay.
Yeah, much better. That actually was a pretty good screen that second time. Now, 2woGood is into charge. It's actually my favorite of the Mega Man 5 stages. I really like the boss theme. I like the stage. It's fun to play. Let's see if he goes for these arrows. Looks like he's going to set up an easier one here. Okay, yeah, he is. So again, showing why the super arrow is so useful. Like, you just use it in so many stages to fly over enemies. Just speeds up the run so much. Into the chicken room now. This is one of the reasons why this stage is my favorite. This screen is super fun. The movement
it's just
with
fun to sim through it.
Yeah, like the movement with all the shots and stuff on the chickens, for whatever reason, it's sort of like how I like with Flame in 6, like it flows really well.
Oh. Haven't seen an acid rain in the tournament yet, but it was the first one.
Yeah. Zeus getting a rain flush.
Regardless, there goes Mega Man 4.
Good. Coming into the Charge Man fight. Obviously, as most people know, this fight is pretty terrible, especially if you don't go for the tough strat with the less pauses required kind of fight. I think we've only seen a couple runners actually go for that strat for this fight. Most people go for this one. It's the standard. Get a hit, pause to get Power Stone off screen so you can shoot again, and just rinse and repeat until he dies. We saw earlier in the tournament, actually, Baron get a very nice charge fight where I think he only had to pause twice because he had so many like really, really well-placed shots. But Zeus is into Mega Man 5 as well. Again, star first, so the runners do have to be careful in this stage with the low gravity. After playing 4, you know, there's no real low gravity in 4. You do get the water physics that might be kind of similar in dive stage, but for whatever reason, after playing those 4 games and then coming to this game, the stage can be a little bit tricky if you're not careful, so a lot of those spikes on the ceiling can be troublesome. So 2woGood, not even electing to go for the bubble skip. It's a pretty precise trick though, so not too surprising. He's just gonna play the bubbles the way they were intended. Oh, so okay, he did hit him there. I don't know if Zeus is trying to get away from Star here, so he's actually having some problems here because Star jumps at you. So the further away you are, the more scary this fight is. Again,
yeah.
Taking a lot of damage, not just because he's not standing close.
Might not be very comfortable with this fight. Just doesn't look like it.
Oh, he is gonna die.
This goes down. So, well, he'll come in full health, so let's see how he does this time. Might be more confident with the full health bar.
Yeah, the only real big concern in 5 with taking a death in the start, typically, as most people know, 1-up drops are pretty common in Mega Man 5, so usually deaths are not that big of a deal. But we have seen at least twice in this tournament where runners, took some early deaths and then went to do the Crystal Warp and didn't realize they were on 0 lives. And when you die to that and game over, you still have to wait for that 40 seconds before you respawn and find out that you game over. So it's a pretty punishing mistake. So hopefully, he has 1 death there. Hopefully that doesn't affect him too much. Yeah, there is another race that's gonna start in what is it? It's 2:30 EST, I think. So
2:30 a.m. Yeah, so probably another
a little under 5 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours? Oh yeah, I'm mathing wrong because I didn't adjust for my time zone. I'm 2 hours behind EST.
Same.
So yeah, a little under 3 hours to go before the next race. And that will be between, I believe, Slurpee Ninja and JVeth.
And done with 5. Moving on to 6.
Yeah, 2woGood is really actually on very decent pace. His PB, according to his splits, is a 2 hour and 1 minute time. And I mean, if he has a good Mega Man 6, he could cut 2 hours here very easily. So
yeah, he's on a really good pace right now.
It's like his splits are only saying he's like, you know, 1.5 to 2 minutes ahead or whatever lately. But there's a good chance I think he's got some time to save in 6. So we'll see how it happens here. Now 6, the big gimmick. Not even maybe necessarily a gimmick, but the big change obviously is that now everywhere throughout the game it's like in 4 and 5 underwater, like you can't jump out of your slide. So runners have to cancel their slide. They can either do that by pressing the A button, as long as they're not holding down, or by turning the opposite direction. So typically you'll see like a lot of left turn cancels, because usually you're sliding to the right. The other kind of thing is Mega Man kind of falls a little bit faster in 6. Like you don't hang in the air as long when you release A. So that can also be a little bit tricky, and we've seen runners sometimes cut jumps a little bit short because they were expecting Mega Man to sort of hang in the air a little longer.
You especially see that in Centaur Man stage.
Yeah, for sure. In the water sections, it's very, very obvious when you see it.
It's a very uncomfortable feeling when you're on that side.
Mm-hmm. The cool thing about Mega Man 6 is every stage does sort of have a gimmick, though. Like Windman stage here, you got these fans. Flame will have like the oil pits, which we'll see in the next stage. So it's kind of neat that every stage sort of has its own little unique thing. They were pretty inventive actually with Mega Man 6, which is really unfortunate that so many people didn't actually play the game. Like this game came out after Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo in 1993, I believe. So like it, you know, a lot of people missed this game completely, I think, because of that.
Once people got a Super Nintendo, what's the point of having a Nintendo?
Yeah, everybody fell in love with 16-bit. No love for the 8-bit. 2woGood getting that last hit right in Windman's face.
The only real strategy with Windman is, I guess you can, every time you slide, you save a frame on your charge shot, but it's not really that much of a...
Yeah, it's not really helpful unless you actually have it planned into your fight. Like, I remember trying to do that when I was first starting to learn 6 a little bit, and in the end I was losing more time trying to do it than I was actually saving. Oh no! Top of the elevator.
So that climb really scared me for a while, because I never figured out like the cue for when to jump onto the next platform, and I would just dread the climb for the longest time.
Right.
So negaZeus seems like he still doesn't have it figured out.
Oh, please, please. Oh, no. So now lives become a very big concern, because if this is not a game over, there's a good chance. Like, I don't know how many 1-ups he picked up, but...
Let's hope he picked up 9.
I mean, yeah, like... I'm curious, I'm going to be watching when he menus to gravity here. We're going to want to see how many he actually has. Because if it's 0, he can't do the crystal warp.
or he'll have to take a game over before doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a big deal. Like you just have to play the stage. Now I'm not sure how many runners know Crystal stage very well because they've been putting so much work into practicing the skip. They may not have practiced the stage very much. So
well, he did just pick up a 1-up, so now he does have enough lives if he doesn't die to gyro here.
Yeah, and that is his only extra life. So really critical that he got that. 2woGood having a little bit of a scare there.
Oh, he had a scare and then he just... 2woGood, no.
One of the punishments in 6 for this stage is if one of those oil pits lights on fire and you die, those oil pits stay lit on fire. They do not go back to being normal oil pits until you either game over or complete the stage. So basically it's sort of like a little bit of a punishment. So 2woGood's going to have to be careful now. These oil pits are, as you can see, all lit now already. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't... Okay, he should be fine there.
Apparently his inputs got eaten.
Yeah, that can happen. 6 is really weird with that, because you can't actually jump on the frame you release the D-pad. So if you let go of the right arrow and try to hit A on that exact same frame, you can't jump. It'll just eat that input. You usually see it a lot in actually the Flame Man fight, Tomahawk fight, Yamato fight's a really bad one for it. And then some of the Wily stages as well. negaZeus getting his setup correct, so now he just has to wait. Thank goodness for that 1-up, dude. Oh my god.
He's taking a breather. He's taking a good stretch right now.
That's actually kind of an interesting point to make out. I don't think, as speedrunners, I feel like that's something that really gets forgotten too much. Like we'll play and we'll speedrun games for a few hours, especially these guys. They're playing a run that's over 2 hours long. Stretching is pretty important, even for your thumbs and stuff. You don't want to injure your hands in any way. So I always think to myself, even when I'm playing, I really don't feel like I stretch enough.
So on 2woGood's stream, he took a hit, nearly fell into a pit, but thanks to Mega Man 6's knockback system, he didn't, because knockback, I think it's a little less than in the other Mega Man titles so far.
Yeah, it is.
So that's both good and sometimes bad, because sometimes you can rely on the knockback to help you. Well, it's a little wonky.
Yeah, that short knockback can be really convenient, especially for the very end of plant stage, the very last turret. Sometimes people panic if they can't kill him. You can actually just jump off that spring and just deboost through him. Even though he's really close to the edge, he doesn't knock you into the pit. It's kind of a nice little bonus. Yeah, it's sort of like what they're saying in chat. Crystal Warp basically, so I can't explain it. I can try to explain it in layman's terms, basically. And that's, you die on the frame that second enemy spawns, and then instead of the ball spawning above that enemy, it spawns, your death sprites fill the position in memory, and the game gets kind of confused and doesn't really know what to do, and so for whatever reason, it just spawns you at the boss corridor. But yeah, you can find some pretty specific explanations for it. Looks like Doysum just posted a link to the leaderboards there. If you go into the forums and Mega Man 5, you can find it there, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact post, but I remember trying to read up on it, and I didn't get a thing.
Yeah, it's pretty specific when you get into the coding and why it works, but yeah, basically that's sort of what's going on.
I think somebody posted that for the tutorial, and they said this is how Crystal Warp works, and I thought, I'm not gonna learn this. This is way too complicated.
But it's funny because it was a strat that nobody really did. The only reason you would go for that in a normal Mega Man 5 speedrun is if you're doing a beatless run, which is super rare. Like, there's really only one runner at the moment that goes for beatless, and that's Polari. That's his route, basically. He's worked really hard at trying to make it a thing. And in theory, it should be a faster route, because it is faster. Like, if you were to TAS it, going beatless would be faster.
If you rely on Wily RNG, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is the capsule fight at the end would be, you'd be basically turning Mega Man 5 kind of into like Mega Man 9's capsule,
yeah,
but
that's
even
what I was
maybe worse. So it's a really hard decision for guys to.
People love running Mega Man 9 because of that final fight there.
Yeah, that's totally why they like that game.
I've seen so many runs just die there just because it's just like, well, there goes that run because Wily's just decided to stay up in the air.
2woGood getting a really nice one jump there on that first gorilla. That second gorilla, sorry. That's actually not easy to do. You have to hit the gorillas 6 times in one jump, and that's pretty tricky. It's easier if you start shooting from further away, because then you can actually kind of make some lag, and it makes it easier to get your hits in. More time to mash, basically.
Not gonna do the plant forms here, but that's okay.
Yeah, plant forms are pretty tricky. The Mega Man 6 runners, Fastest said he did some different findings when he tested frames for that, but the Mega Man 6 runners will tell you that it's about a 4-frame window to jump off of those platforms, and if you're actually holding left or right, it's only a 2-frame window, so those jumps are pretty precise if you don't open them. The game doesn't intend for you to do that, they intend for you to open them and stand on them that way, the way 2woGood did it. Nine is a good game. Don't get us wrong. 9 is definitely a good game. It's just not good for RTAers that are trying to grind down a really, really good time.
Very good plant fight there.
Yeah, 2woGood going for the standard plant fight. Getting 2 hits per cycle is pretty ideal for that fight. I would actually disagree with that, Baron. I don't think it would be a dead frame on the stationary landing. It would be a dead frame on the frame you let go of your D-pad. Because that's why you get inputs eaten in 6. So you let go of the D-pad, and you can't jump on that frame.
negaZeus makes it to the boss room barely intact with 2 HP there.
Yeah, that's... Thankfully, Stone is one of the easier boss fights, so hopefully he doesn't have any issues here.
He suicides.
Oh, that's too bad.
But doesn't realize how many lives he has left.
He's better not... Oh, he never got another 1-up, dude! No!
That's... well, bad.
Yeah. So, that's really unfortunate, too, because Stone is a really long stage. So he's gonna have to replay through the entire thing now again because of that.
He's probably the easiest fight in
yeah, it's sort of like the Toadman of this game, because if you stay close to him, he just jumps. So I'm gonna chalk that death up to a little bit of inexperience, I think.
I don't know. It seemed like he was trying to... Like, he didn't have anywhere else to go and he was trying to just suicide there, but he assumed he had enough lives, but I don't know. Hard to say without his reaction. And he dropped one, but he never... Oh, no. That's terrible.
Meanwhile, 2woGood goes through Tomahawk, so... Tomahawk obviously weak to plant, so he's got exact ammo for this fight, so he has to be careful not to fire any extra shots into the iframes.
Close fight there.
Taking a few hits from Tomahawk, but he does get his kill. Tomahawk can be kind of a jerk if he decides to give you a lot of little hops, because he'll keep jumping into you. But
it's the one boss
2woGood
that
does outlast him.
always makes me question about how robot masters don't take damage from jumping into you, but
When they hit you, yeah.
it's fine. Just
Yeah, they're a little more robust. Must be made out of some kind of stronger material. So, sort of on the home stretch here now, as he's only got 3 more stages to go. Yamato typically considered to be the easiest of the 8 robot stages. It's a very short stage, and there's not a whole lot of places where you can really die. So it's kind of a nice stage. It's kind of like a nice little break.
Nega got Stone Man down that time, so no worries there. Sub 2 still in range, so
Yeah, definitely. Which honestly, that's a pretty good accomplishment. You know, like it takes effort to get to that sub 2 range, and then I would say it takes a substantial amount of effort to get to that sub 150 range, and then a ridiculous amount to get to sub 145 range.
I'm not gonna dare that. Those ranges.
Yeah, you definitely got to put a lot of time into getting good at Mega Man games for those times. But sub 2 is a pretty solid time for, you know, most people.
I can agree with that. Yamato's pretty cut and dry. Not really much you can do wrong there.
Yeah, and it's also the only stage in 6 where we're going to actually take the alternative route, which would be where you would get the beat letters. Because it is actually a little bit faster in Yamato because you skip about 2 or 3 screens.
It's also a lot easier too.
Yeah, it really is.
As you go the lower route, you end up countering a lot more spikes.
Yeah. negaZeus is into his chicken room. Taking a few hits here, but he is getting some health drops to get some of that back. Two stages left for 2woGood, man. He's got a solid run still going here for him.
2 stages and 7.5 minutes. He's got this. I didn't see any dedication from either player.
No, neither runner gave a dedication for their chicken rooms.
They're super focused at the moment.
Yeah. So, 2woGood didn't quite get the kill fast enough on that first enemy in this room, so he's gonna have to wait for the spike ceiling to go back up. It does only get hit once though, so I mean that's not too terrible. Sometimes people get hit a second time by that other spike enemy.
No problem on Charge Man here.
Yeah, just using that pause buffer strat.
So I see the switch off here on this room of Nightman stage. Choosing to get Rush Jet adapter, skip that part or not. Has it really been proven which is faster, or?
Well, so the task does switch to Jet, but the time save with it is very, very minor. And you're adding an extra menu as well, so like you have to do it. You actually have to be very good at Jet. Like you can sort of feather Jet a little bit when you throttle, so that you go higher than the maximum height that you're typically allowed to fly.
Okay.
And you have to be very good at that kind of use of it. Otherwise, it's slower. I think even a perfectly executed Jet strat compared to like a semi-okay non-Jet strat. Like Baron had a video where he didn't even go for all of the best spear strats, and he did Jet, and it was still only like maybe half a second faster at best. So,
so
very, very minor.
negaZeus
But we have seen some people do it.
isn't going for the fast strat either on Wave stage. No bubble skip from him.
the bubble skip is pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Like, the window to hit where you actually transition with the bubbles is so small. So your arrows have to be pretty precise to get you on the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one stage to go. He's basically got 5 minutes to beat one stage, and he can still get sub 2. So
Centaur is
yeah,
not a favorite to finish on, but well, it's one stage left.
it's a little tricky. But hopefully, since he knows he's so far ahead, he can maybe play it even a little bit safer. He has definitely that time that he can sort of take, like, not feel rushed.
Mm-hmm. If he knows his position relative to negaZeus.
Yeah. Which I'm guessing he probably does, because he's been talking in chat a little bit, so. Going with the plant strats early on. Plant's weapon not overly useful throughout this game usually, but kind of a nice little strat to use. Yeah, he is. He's going to want to menu here to another weapon soon, because he's got lots of enemies to kill. He's going with Flame Blast, so...
So
I've seen a few runners
weapon.
do this. Yeah, again, like Flame, yeah, is such a powerful weapon.
He got through the tough spots, so...
Just getting over, yeah, that tight jump. Ooh, and Zeus taking another death. So he's
Not
gonna have
really
to
fun
start the
to
auto-scroller again.
die on wave stage right before the boss room.
Yeah. 2woGood's looking pretty good here.
Looking too good.
His health is, I guess, a little lower. He's gonna grab this refill here. I might even argue that you might not even have needed it, because Centaur is not that hard of a fight. He doesn't deal very much damage. But, you know, he took it. You know, you might as well have it if it's there. Why risk it?
Switching over to Knight to take care of these subs.
Yeah, Knight is pretty nice, sort of like Metal
that-
Blade, how you can fire it upward. Ooh! So it does take a death in that one of those. That's like one of the last rooms you can actually die too. So kind of
Yeah.
unfortunate there. Should still be able to get sub 2 even with that death, but
Yeah.
it's gonna cost them a
Just
little
gotta be
bit.
careful on that one area, because I've seen a lot of runners choke it there.
I usually say, yeah, if they can get through this room and the next room, I mean, they're home free. There's really nowhere that they can lose their run at that point. So, hopefully he can get this one. I think it was just an accidental slide.
Mm-hmm.
So, switching back to Knight again.
Yeah, he's got this. We've got negaZeus starting with the Buster. I think he's gonna opt to Buster wave.
Maybe, if he feels like he doesn't have enough health. Well, that's interesting. So he shot Wave at the beginning of the fight, but that's actually not going to help him, because
It's gonna end up with one health.
he's still going to have 1 HP, so he's going to have to hit him with just as many
He finished off wave though. So.
charge kicks. Yeah, gets his kill. Off to Mega Man 6, and 2woGood just about to finish Mega Man 6. Getting some flashes here. That's sort of so you shouldn't get flashed in this fight. It comes down to your execution. If you don't shoot Centaur fast enough and put him in iframes, he'll flash you basically. So, but yeah, 2woGood finishes
congrats
off.
to 2woGood.
That's a
Finishes off
PB for
officially
him.
with a 158.29.
Yeah, that's a solid time. Great PB. And really, I mean, that's like, it's just a really good way to finish off for him for the tournament too. Like, unfortunately, 2woGood and negaZeus were, you know, eliminated in their pool. But you know, to finish off with a PB like that, that's a really strong finish. So definitely, he can be proud of that. Ooh, Ooh, negaZeus having a lot of issues in this improv room. Not killing those turrets, as you can see, they start to become a problem because those balls that they shoot, they explode. I mean, he gets through it, but he's very low on health right now. So he'll probably have to take the health fill that's coming up at the next screen.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just gonna bypass it, actually, so... Wind's fight is not too hard. Oh, he tries to use his iframes to go through the panda, but doesn't quite make it. And actually, that is a strat I've seen some people do, where they've used their iframes from taking a hit from the panda before, but it's actually very, very tight to do that, so...
Do we know if negaZeus is on mic?
He did have a mic on when he first started, but I don't think he's been talking very much. It's hard to say.
Okay. I'm just trying to decide if I should keep it on this lovely password screen or not.
It didn't appear that he was saying much from his webcam, but it's hard to say.
Okay, I'll switch it over for now, and if it gets noisy, I'll do something else.
Okay. Takes a game over there, unfortunately. Ooh, and accidentally goes back again to stage select instead of continue. So has to watch this little intro again.
Then what the hell are you doing on, man?
Looks like he does have his mic still on, so I'll find something else.
Okay. So heading back through improv room again. This time a little easier because he killed the turrets. Taking another double hit there in that tri-panda room. It's a tough room to do. Like, pandas have a lot of HP, so you have to mash them pretty hard to kill them quickly. He's just going to stand back to kill these cars. Again, you have to be kind of careful with these fans. And he just slides off the edge. Looks like he just forgot to hold right there. And another death. Oof. Mega Man 6. It's rough if you try, like I said, if you're trying to do things like accidentally trying to jump out of slides and stuff, like the game will punish you because you just can't do that. And it looks like maybe that's what's happened a couple of these times, honestly. See if third time's the charm. Gets to the checkpoint room. Pandas, in my opinion, are one of the more notorious enemies in 6, just because, for speedruns anyway, just because the speedrun obviously starts in Wind. So if anybody's watched an actual Mega Man 6 like RTA speedrun stream, you see a lot of resets in like the first few rooms of Wind where you just get pandas and pandas and pandas. So sometimes you start to get annoyed at them if you try to speedrun this game because they are pretty tough to take out fast. Ooh, just squeaks by that last panda's bullet, so he is going to get to the boss room this time. It's a good sign. Try to get in with the trolling. Takes Wind out. There he goes. He's got one stage done now. Hopefully that can get sort of the ball rolling. It is something that's kind of neat with Mega Man 6 is all the bosses are sort of based off of like something, like sort of as Tricodin is implying, although he's implying incorrectly. It's the sort of story of the game is like it's based like it's almost like the Olympics. It's like a Robot Master tournament kind of thing, and they're all supposed to fight each other. So like every Robot Master is sort of based off of some kind of like area or country.
There is one Robot Master based off of Canada, though, isn't there?
Well, that's what most people will tell you. A lot of people say Blizzard is based off Canada, but the world record holder will fight tooth and nail to say he's based off of a Nordic country. Don't ask me why.
I believe there's a Canadian Robot Master.
So I don't really know what to say. I mean, Blizzard. I don't see Blizzard apologizing every time he hits you. So I don't know if he's actually Canadian or not, but because I can confirm we do that a lot. Oh, so Nega. Oh, and taking the death too. So again, those pits stay lit. So now when negaZeus gets back there, assuming he doesn't game over, that pit will be still on fire. So it makes it a little more difficult again. It's going to have to go across slowly with the cloud platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Flame is a really fun stage to play. Like if you ever like look into the speedrun and think maybe you might like to learn it, I always like when I started to learn this game. This is actually the first stage I learned because it was the one I wanted to learn so bad because it's a really fun stage.
Did you go Flame first or?
I didn't know, but by the time so it's interesting. By the time I found speedrunning at all for Mega Man games, Wind was already sort of the established route.
Mm-hmm.
But I also used to go Wind first casually anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really nice fit for me because that was what I was used to already. Wind is such an easy buster fight, so it just really made sense to go first. The Flame first route isn't really any slower per se than Wind first, but it's just a lot harder.
Because you can't shoot your buster shots through the flame towers.
Like you can still hit him when he uses the flame towers and stuff, but it's just a lot more precise. Like you have to put the shot like just above them, but not too high that it goes over top of Flame Man. So the fight's a little bit harder, but technically, if the fights are executed both correctly, the routes are both the same. So into the Flame fight now. Flame's fight, there's not a whole lot going on. The only thing you don't want to see from Flame really is the high jumps. Every time he jumps really high, it basically means he's going to be in the air for a certain period of time where you can't hit him. So you want him to stay low, so at least you can get your hits in and kill him quickly that way. Tricodin, most people aren't even going to know what Alberta is. this guy, dude. He's a fellow Canadian, but I think he gives us too much credit. Oh no! So Zeus going back to flame, unfortunately.
Seems to happen a lot.
Ooh. And I think he's had enough. So Zeus has decided to forfeit from the race here. So we won't be seeing the end of this one. Really unfortunate, but I mean, I don't blame him too much. You know, this whole run with this race has really beat him down throughout. Mega Man 1 was really mean. Mega Man 2 and 3 went fairly well for him, and then 4, 5, and 6 kind of were jerks again to him, so I mean, it's kind of unfortunate, but like again, yeah, I don't really blame him. Sometimes you just want to stop. Like, I know even for me, if I'm in a race and I'm playing and I know I'm not playing in a situation where I can PB and I'm basically just finishing to finish, I'd rather just stop and start over, personally. But that's just how it goes. So again, this was these guys' last race in the tournament. So again, thanks to them for joining into the tournament. It was awesome to have. We had 40 runners join in, and this pool play will drop it down to 20. So sad to say goodbye to half our runners, but it's going to happen, unfortunately. But definitely awesome to still have all the people who've been participating in this tournament. We do still have one more race coming up later tonight, so in about little over 2 hours from now, we'll be having another race. So sort of a late night one, but I believe it's Slurpee Ninja. I think he's racing Javeth. Let me look.
Yeah, it's
Javeth.
Slurpee Ninja and Javeth going head to head.
Yeah. So that should be a good one there. Early Saturday morning race. And then also there's 3 more races scheduled for tomorrow as well. There's one at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, which is Nero versus KZ's. Sort of new boy versus old boy in that one. 1 p.m. Anthel and Fishbowl are racing. And then 4 p.m. Richard and Conster are racing. So Saturday's got a few races going on as well. There's only one race at the moment scheduled for Sunday because it was a sort of last minute thing. Technically, the pool races, everybody's supposed to be completed by Saturday, but there's been some special cases, I think, made for some people, because obviously with the hurricane and everything, and people having to leave their houses or not having power, unfortunately, some people have been struggling to get their races in, so I think there's going to be probably some special cases.
That's definitely understandable.
Yeah, I would definitely agree, so... Hopefully those guys will be, first of all and foremost, safe, but also hopefully they'll be able to get their runs in whenever they can get a chance to. So, yeah.
So I think that's it for now. Come back in a couple hours if you want to watch another race. Otherwise, just go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
And
hit the pillow.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this race, and congrats to 2woGood on a sub 2 hour PB.
Yeah.
And thank you, negaZeus, for joining on this race and pushing through as much as you could. And thanks for all who watched. We'll see you in a couple hours if you decide to join in on this next race between Javeth and Slurpee Ninja. So that's all I have. So
it's all for me. I'm good. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, bye.